Hi, Capricorn. This is your August reading. It's an interesting month for my Capricorns. I have a note here. I hope you enjoy it. I think it's one of those major notes in life as we're here in this school of life figuring it out. And the note is preparation is the journey, and also only one aspect of the journey. And that duality is what is carrying you through the month. And I'm pretty sure a lot of you already understand exactly what I'm saying when I say those words. Because the first half of the month has a lot of retrograde action affecting your second and your eighth houses. It's a pretty profound time of year for Capricorns. And then as we get to the end of the month and we get into Virgo season, there's a pickup in energy where the manifestation starts. So when I say, preparation is the journey, I'm saying please enjoy getting, your manifestation, dream journaling, visioning on. Really utilize the seed planting time that is Leo season for Capricorns, which is 8th house energy, transformative energy. I mean, you have a solar eclipse, new moon, in your 8th house of Leo on August 11th. And that means time to plant those seeds. I love the phrase digging in the midnight garden, as I'm sure many of you know. And this is your time of year for that. Digging in the midnight garden. It's dark. It's not very flashy. You plant those seeds though, and then they start to manifest. So that's why that note came up. It just kind of came to me. I'm going to start shuffling here. We're just going to do an organic spread today because I feel like with all this eclipse and retrograde action, we just need to flow with the times. So, as I shuffle, I will tell you some of the aspects. A whole bunch of cards just fell out. I'm curious to see what they are. Let's actually look. Oh, wow. Digging in the midnight garden. 8 of Swords, the World, and 3 of Wands. If that isn't just a mini reading of the month for you guys, I don't know what is. There's the process right there. Okay. I'm going to keep shuffling, and I'm going to talk about these aspects, and then we'll talk about what's going on here. Okay. So Uranus is going retrograde until January, and that's starting on August 7th in your 5th house. So you're assessing what works in creative and romantic ventures. You are assessing what works at your heart level, Cappies. Because I tell you what, your hearts are beautiful. And you're also quite stubborn and focused and driven. And so these retrogrades can be really useful when they hit something like your heart chakra. Just to check in, just to make sure that you're honoring your process, that you're honoring your needs in that process. Why are you so driven? What is it that you're driving toward? Well, you know that that's connected to your heart. So that retrograde could be quite profound for you. Yes, we have the new moon / partial solar eclipse on August 11th. And that's in your 8th house in Leo. Shedding an old skin, planting those seeds, getting real with what works for you. What just popped out? I'm very curious. Ooh. Yep. Do you want to warrior through, or do you want to be intuitive and take the path of least resistance? That is the question that just came out there with those two. With the High Priestess and the 9 of Wands. We have Mars retrograde is retrograding right back into your sign. It's been in Aquarius hanging out for a while. It's retrograding back into your sign on the 12th. Yes, on the 12th. And then it's going to stay retro until the 27th, I believe. Yep, till the 27th. So a lot of this month, Mars is going to be retrograde in a very personal placement for you and who you are in the world. I mean, this is why I'm saying, preparation is the process, and it's also only part of the process. It's this duality, and you're going to be feeling it. It's going to be very confusing. Okay, I should just enjoy where I am now. Yes, you should. Just enjoy where you are now in the process. But I also am eager for more. Yes. Both of those things are going to be happening. You're going to be sorting out what that means. I'm going to pull a couple more cards here. We do have a Pisces full moon in your 3rd house of communication on the 23rd. And by then we'll be in Virgo season, which is a decision to be made, a mask to be dropped. Cappies. We can't be wearing masks and serving others all the time. Sometimes we got to serve our own heart. This is a theme. This is a theme in August. This is really a theme in August. Everybody's got to drop the mask, but you guys especially. Cardinal signs are getting asked to get very honest with where they can give. Yeah. Okay. Final card, Eight of Wands. Okay. We're gonna leave it there for now because I just kind of want to talk through these cards. We have plenty of ammunition here. So the first three cards that came out together. They just came out in a clump, and they are, like I said, a mini reading of the month. I mean, you might start off feeling a little bit constrained, like you can't quite see the path, or you feel that you're not able to make moves the way you would like to. You may feel a little blocked up, but this is a card that I love because this is a card that almost always precedes big breakthrough. This is a card that almost always precedes clarity, especially if you surrender to the fogginess. Now, this is where digging in the midnight garden gets good. I love it. Savor it. Go in there. Take a load off. Slow down, journal, listen in, take some naps, go for walks, call an old friend. Anything to get out of your analytical mind, quite honestly, and into your intuitive mind. That is what all these retrogrades are trying to do with you. Specifically, Capricorn, you're very affected by these. These are extremely personal for you, including the fact that Saturn is still retrograde in your sign. You have so much working at you to get you just intuitive and true to yourself and not just acting and pushing forward like you're so good at doing, but doing it out of a place of authenticity. So you're being given this gift. It might not feel like a gift, but it is. And here's the thing. There's some new project. There's some new horizon that you are destined to head toward in the second half of this year and definitely in 2019. And you're getting a bit of a preview of it because once you kind of surrender back into that energy, look what happens. As we hit the Leo eclipse in the solar eclipse in Leo on August 11th and moving into the second half of the month, in this 8th house of transformation, you're getting some kind of graduation. You're getting some kind of insight about the much bigger picture here. You know, we have laughed about this a lot. The fact that the tower was hanging around you guys for a good year. Really, it was something like that. It was a long time. It kept coming up. And we kept having these big kind of shakeups that just were, you guys were just changing your lives, leaving old jobs, leaving things that weren't serving you, getting out from things that were not serving your heart chakra, like I was just talking about. And now we have a slightly less dramatic version of that. And I mean, that's the thing with the Eight of Swords. Unlike the Tower, this is quiet, it's soft, it's subtle, it's almost embracing. And what comes with it is an embrace of the world, which is a graduation energy. It's leaving something behind, but it gives you gifts. It gives you the red carpet treatment into your next phase, and that's with the Three of Wands. Your ships are coming in. I think it's interesting that I was saying preparation is the journey and only part of the journey, because I think a lot of you actually planted seeds many months ago, probably, in the early part of March, in April. You had to parse through some things, some heartaches, some losses, some confusion, some cloudiness, but you planted those seeds. Now we're starting to get to the point where you can see the sprouts coming up in the second half of August. And these are calling you to make big shifts, but not out of blindness, not out of needing to, not out of a company going under or a relationship going under, but much more like getting a promotion or committing to somebody or even meeting somebody. It's that kind of energy where it's a shift, but it's the kind of shift it has meat to it. It has drive to it. It has ambition to it. Now, the other cards in this reading are speaking to a bit of the internal battle that goes on in trusting that process and kind of parsing out the difference between something that's duty-bound, something that feels like it looks good on paper or is the right thing to do, and something that feels like it's the right thing, feels good, feels authentic to you. And that is where these last four cards come in, and they're pretty powerful. And so you may be kind of having to calibrate between these two settings. We'll just start with these two, right? Okay, we have a Pisces full moon, which this High Priestess to me just totally speaks to. The Pisces full moon is going to be beautiful. It's intuitive. It flows with you. But the Pisces energy and the High Priestess energy is completely, you use the other sense, you use your spiritual self, which I know you guys are tapped in. You figured out how to be here on this planet, but you have a lot going on. Trust is a huge word. Trust is a huge word this month for you all. Because if you get into Nine of Wands mode, now Nine of Wands mode for me is like somebody who's seen the tower come in 10 times in a row and is now like, I know it can go wrong. I have experience in the world, and I understand that the tower will come and sweep things away, so why would I trust all this right here? So one of the funny things about getting manifestation, once it starts happening, which I'm seeing for you guys, honestly, I really am feeling and seeing that you're going to start getting your way. Things are going to start lining up and making sense and feeling really good. The funny thing with that is as soon as you start getting manifestation, that's when our distrust of the world comes in. That's when our nervousness comes in, our feeling of lack, our feeling of unworthiness starts to come in. And that's what the Nine of Wands is. So pay attention to when you're flipping between these two, because you will notice. This is a good month to, keep a little journal. A really simple one where you just note down, I'm feeling really in the flow, there's downloads coming in, or I'm feeling really anxious and tense. And kind of notice what's going on around you in those times. Kind of notice which ones are bringing in those synchronicities and those flows, and when it's feeling a lot more like friction. Because one of the things you're getting a special little time to practice here is calibrating that so that you can really start trusting again in the process, because you have had some wariness from all the things that were going on. So learning to trust these manifestations, getting your feet back in the water is a big part of that. And that theme continues when we have the Two of Pentacles and the Eight of Wands, because the Two of Pentacles always, for me, the first thing I see, and I'm feeling it really strong with you guys, is that duality between playing a role, showing up for things, continuing to do things the way you're expected to do them, because you're expected to do them, and putting that mask on and dealing with it, which you guys, I know, that is one of your skill sets, and almost to your detriment, because you can push yourselves way past a point that feels authentic to you. So there's that side of it. And then the other duality is feeling completely drained and tired and needing to just put the burden down. Now, yes, this can also be about making a decision. You do have a fork in the road here, my Cappies. You do have a fork in the road coming up this August. But these eclipses are really shaking things up. And for you, it has to do with this world, and it has to do with these ships coming in. There are opportunities showing up. And I think a lot of you will have a few opportunities. And your challenge this month is going to be making choices based on your intuitive heart center, and not making choices based on practical, on paper things, or on what you think you should be doing. And that can be tricky to parse out, which is why I was saying, maybe keep a journal and notice when you're feeling friction and when you're feeling ease. Notice when you're feeling synchronicity and when you're feeling distortion. Because when you have to make choices, when you have choices to make, when you have options for the jobs and the relationships and the housing that you could live in, that's great. But then you want to be sure that you have that intuitive guidance, right? Because look what happens right after. Fast motion forward. Whatever decision you make here in this parsing through what's authentic to you and what is duty bound, which those don't have to be different things, by the way. I'm not saying that duty does not have to mean it's not part of your heart. It can absolutely be that. There's a lot of not black and white. That's why intuition helps you gauge through that much more efficiently than the rational mind will. The rational mind will try and divide what's duty bound and what's just mushy feelings. The rational mind wants to put everything in a nice, neat box. which it doesn't work that way, right? So that's why your intuition is being called upon here, because there is nuance to these decisions. There are nuances to what is going on around you, and there's a lot of speed at the end of the month. There's a lot of speed behind you. So once you kind of parse through where you're inviting in these new opportunities, where you're saying yes, you're signing up, you're opening the door, there's a lot of momentum behind you. So you want to make sure, you don't want that firepower pushing you further into a road that's not serving you, right? There's a lot of intense manifestation energy here. And for those of you who maybe, and some of you this month, you are not going to have it all happen this month. Be very wise though. Like I said, preparation is the journey. Some of you need to prep for 2019. Because 2019 is going to be a big year for you. And I'm pulling a card from my Cosmic Tarot, and the Eight of Pentacles came right out. Look at that, well-being. I think the outcome this month will be positive for you. I think there is abundance here. There is success here. There is clarity and drive and focus. But it really does hinge on the duality between really these two. And I'm sure, we've already talked about it. A lot of this video has been me telling you, these two different states. Retrogrades and eclipses are really interesting because I think in general they bring up these questions. What is truly the spiritual voice speaking to you, your intuitive voice bringing in, and what does that sound like? What does that feel like? We're all being asked to assess that. It starts showing up really strong. And it also calls into question where we have built our alliances and which alliances are working for us and which of them just stopped working for us a little while ago. And so with that, you are navigating some quite foggy areas at times. But what I'm seeing here with my Capricorn loves is that I have to tell you guys, you have this tool set of knowing. I think sometimes you rely on your street smarts and your wisdom and your ability to get through. And you forget sometimes. You forget how to trust this intuitive stuff. You all have it, and you're all tapped into it, and you have this ability to tap into it very easily. I find Capricorns tap into it very easily, but I think sometimes, slowly but surely, you put it on the back shelf and you're a little wary of it. And this month, we are bringing it back. We're bringing that tool set back. So this is a very psychic month for Capricorns. This is a very intuitive month for Capricorns. This is going to be a time where abundance is starting to come and meet you after all the tower energy. Clarity is starting to come and meet you. But you're only going to be able to see these opportunities through the lens of intuition, through the lens of self-trust. And so that's why I'm sitting here and being so adamant about it, because you could feel like, you want to just be sure that you're perceiving it. And not just barreling through. So, not that I'm accusing you guys of doing that. I just think this is a common problem in modern society with all the busyness we have going on, that it's very tempting to put our intuition on the back shelf. So, and with all the energy going on with you guys, this is just a wise time. It's really good though. Okay, I'm going to leave it at that. I'm so excited to see what August brings us all. I'm booking fall appointments, and I would love to work with you all. We're booking into September right now. I'm taking some time in August to travel. So that's why, I won't be offering sessions the first few weeks of August, but I will start offering them in September. So you can find those appointment dates on my website at SARAHTAROT.com. Also follow me on Instagram at the SARAHTAROT. I may start implementing in the fall in the Northern Hemisphere, spring in the Southern Hemisphere. I might start implementing announcements where I'm opening up sessions for that week or the next day, and I would put those announcements up on Instagram. So if you're interested in that, that's a great way to connect with me and get more energy updates and support on the journey, on the energetic journey. So I would definitely check that out. You can also email me at info@sarahtarot.com if you need to ask me any questions. I'm sitting here with the gorgeous Tiffany at PinkLune's jewelry on 15% off. I will give you those codes and addresses in the description box. And Jill Sands. Okay, good. Speaking of heart chakra being affected, like my Cappies are going to be, these are very heart-infused, fire-infused pieces, and they really speak to the heart-centeredness of August and what it's bringing up. So you can check out her shop for prints of her art, and it's just a beautiful thing. So I'll leave her email and her website in the description box. Check her out. She's just one of my dear friends. I love you guys so much. I do. I love you guys so much, and I have been having so much fun sitting here talking to you today. So I hope I get to talk with some of you in September and October and on. Hang in there. And I'm sending you all my love.